So I wanted to share this with everyone, that to say that after years and years and years of trying to provide dealers really, really good insight and, the performance that we have, I want store visits. You're only going to get that, by the way, on certain large stores. Google is the one who determines who sees that metric. But yes, the impressions they'll give you, you'll get click-through rate, you'll get your average cost, you may or may not get your cost. I'm going to skip conversions for a minute and talk about a little secret about that. You'll get search impression share. But see, here you go, bounce rate. So this store on paid search, the money spent, the ads only bounced at 21.96%. And so I can tell you in this store, it's a Toyota store in Georgia, I can tell you that the bounce rate for the website is about 39%. So we're almost half bounce rate that the normal website is. So and we want to share that data, good, bad, or indifferent. We want to share that data. And then you can see here that of that time they're looking at 3.49 pages, and they're spending almost 4 minutes on the site, 223 seconds. And then the number of new sessions was over 50%. So that's the car buyers, right? The people who are new. Now, right. You could argue there's probably 25, 30% that have been to your site once. Then they're more up funnel. They've started their process. And then, as I promised, let me talk to you about conversions. As a provider, I can put any metric I want in conversions. Let me explain what I mean by that. So I can put in there, the customer went to the hours and direction page. Oop, check that box. That's a conversion. The customer spent more than a minute on the site. Well, that's clearly a conversion. Check that box. And on and on and on and on with all of these crazy kinds of metrics in there. Think of it this way. The more conversions that you check the box on, the lower the cost per conversion goes. And so a lot of people get fired because they have high cost per conversions. So in order to fix that, they just go in and they add a whole bunch of conversions, it lowers the cost. Because you got a higher divisible number. So be very direct with, if you're interviewing a new provider or your current provider. We feel conversions are really 3 things. Used to be 2, but it's 3 now. And it's only 3 if you're getting the store visits. Since Google reports this number as a store visit, we include it. So it's store visits, telephone calls, and website form leads. After that, there's nothing else that's going to get in there as a conversion. And we're probably pretty hard on ourselves for doing that. We've got to work a little extra harder, but at least we want our dealers to know that if it's a conversion, some type of human interaction took place, whether it was a call, a lead, or a visit. And we simply just think that's fair.
No, the calls, the way the calls going to register is if they did it off of a smartphone or a device, right? Because that's not going to register if they're looking online and then picked up the phone and called, right? The phone won't register.
Well, if they look at the ad and they pick up the phone on their desk and they call, right, it's going to register as a phone call because we put div swap layer tracking numbers on there. So
okay,
the telephone number that's in the ad is not the dealer's phone number. It's ours.
Right. We use tracking numbers. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yep. What's the biggest mistake a dealer can make when it comes to working with an SEO provider?
Oh, hey, David, if we could, my bad. Let me show them this slide too, because this has to do with the other part of the page. Okay, great. Thanks. So what I'm showing you here is, this is that same Toyota store, and they're doing display ads with us. Now, a display ad is, if you ever gone to a website and you see these ads start popping up and they're following you around, they could be ribbons on the bottom, they could be skyscraper big ads, they could be little square ads. We've all seen them. Happens to me on eBay when I go to weather.com, etc. That's what a display ad is. And so we believe that they're extremely effective because they're super cheap in comparison to a paid search click. It's an opportunity for you to build a really strong digital presence and billboard for not a lot of money. The bad news is that they come with a very high bounce rate. But you can see here, this dealer got 1.5 million impressions and paid less than $1,000. The way this is typically display is the most profitable advertising an agency has to sell a dealer in his bag. Number one. And I'll explain to you why. Again, without naming any companies, I know the prices on display ads run from anywhere from $6 all the way I've seen as high as $18 or $19 cost per 1,000 impressions. Think about that. $6 per 1,000 impressions. So, you get into a situation. So a dealer says, all right, I'll go 100,000 for $600. Well, 100,000 impressions it's so small. You won't get you just don't get you need you need millions, we believe. And all of our dealers get millions and millions of impressions a month. We could also do geo-targeting around your competition, where we just flood that market with ads to get your name out there. Okay. But the cost per click is only 16 cents. And I just want to move that. And then the cost per 1,000 is 63 cents blended. 63 cents. Now, this is because that our clients, our dealers, are having their card billed directly by Google. So whatever Google is charging, that's what the dealer pays. In this case, 63 cents cost per 1,000. Where the lowest I've seen it from companies out there is $6 cost per 1,000. So that's something that I wanted to point out to you. And then also make sure that if you're doing display, it's a best practice to do not only general display, but also have a remarketing campaign in that component. And then because you want to be able to get people to come back to the store.
Okay.
And then to follow all of this up and kind of to put a ribbon and bow on this box in terms of paid search and display, what I want to leave you with on this is you'll hear what I hear from dealers when they ask their current provider to give them access to the MCC is usually a very long silent pause or a scream.
Hang on. One second. Just explain to everybody what an MCC is.
Yeah, I did that earlier. That's the Master Client Center. Okay. Remember, I had the picture up there and said everybody, myself and every other person in my space is operating out of a similar Google MCC. Got it. And that's the access that I showed them with the titles on the top, David. So, I want them to know what information they want to receive. But the providers will say things like, well, we can't do that because, all of our customers are in there and you'd have access to our customers. And that sounds really reasonable. Okay, yeah, I don't want to see your other customers. I'm a good guy. But the fact of the matter is, just for kicks and giggles, I went out this morning and I just said, how do I give one of my customers access to his account in the MCC? And lo and behold, this little URL from Google Ads, by the way, reported back, and it said, here's how you do it. Here are the 6 steps. And then also Google says, and this is not me, this is Google, client accounts users won't have access to the manager accounts they're linked to, or any other account that are linked to the same manager account. So in other words, Google says, yes, if you as a dealer sit in an ad agency's MCC, all the agency has to do is follow these 6 steps and they can give you access. So if they give you that pushback, copy this and send it to them. So I'm sorry you don't know how to do it. It's really simple. Just follow these 6 instructions, or You could have Googled it to find out how to, guys, it's your property. You're paying, in some cases, a lot of money. And it's your property, it's your data. Insist upon it, because it's the surefire way of getting into the weeds to see, you know, what's going on. And if you don't want to do it, there's people out there who will be glad to do it for you every month. So help is there, but in order to help, you have to have data.
Okay.
Thanks, David. Appreciate that.
No problem.